And we're back, everybody. Today we have actually one of my buddies who was in Korea with me, who worked in the office giving me parts. We have his 94 Ford Ranger manual. He came here, well, I came here looking at it. He said it will crank, it won't start. So I was like, alright. I get here, what do I see? Broken timing belt. So that's the problem. So today we're doing a timing belt on this Ford Ranger, guys. Obviously the first step every YouTube video normally tells you, remove your negative terminal. For this job, I really don't care about removing the negative terminal. The only electrical connector I'm really taking off is this AC compressor. So do it if you want, that's the correct answer, but I'm not doing it because they're kind of smushed and crap. So a few things we're gonna have to do. In order to get the crankshaft pulley off, to get the tool in there, you're gonna wanna take out, well, your fan's gotta come out, your shroud's gotta come out, you're gonna wanna take your radiator out. So drain your radiator first, pop off your upper radiator hose, and we're gonna get this fan out. Those 4 8mm bolts holding on the fan to the front of the water pump. So I'm gonna get some stuff off real quick, and then we will go from there. I'll give you guys the sizes that the bolts were and all that good stuff as always. So I'll see y'all in 10-15 minutes probably. Look at that, we have space. So they were 10mm bolts. It will really help if you have a ratchet wrench. 10mm flex head ratchet wrench work great. And then there's 2 10mm holding in the shroud right here. Sorry, 2 8mm holding them in here and here. We already drained the radiator. Now we're going to take out the radiator, which looks like 2 more 8 or 10mm right on the top. We'll take that out so we have space. And then after that, we're going to work on unbolting this compressor. Ford wants you to take the compressor off. You don't have to take the compressor off. You just got to take it off and move it a little bit to get to the bolts that are underneath this bracket. So in turn, you can take this timing cover off. By the way, this bolt, that Phillips screw is not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be a regular bolt. But obviously, someone's been in here before, so we'll fix. After those 2 10mm bolts out, your radiator's out. We'll take a serpentine belt off here, 3/8 breaker bar. Take a picture if you want to. If not, you can pull up a diagram, or it's right here on your car. So, without further ado, I'm gonna take that off and work on the compressor. Customer states compressor won't work. Just kidding. He does though. So you gotta take the compressor off. You see the bolts. You got 1 13mm in there. There he is. 1 13mm there, and then you got down here, I think, another 13mm. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. I should get a light for you. But I think there might also be one underneath down here. I'll find that out after I take these 2 off and let you know. But as far as I'm tracking, it may only be these 2. So let me take these 2 off so I can get the space to move this cover off. Newsflash, there's 5. I have 4 here because one of them's already out and stuck inside there. There's that one down there. Let me grab the light now that I have my light. Although there's one underneath there that I could show y'all, but I'm not getting back under there because it's bad. It's not fun. So you got that one there, right? Then you got the one that's supposed to be in that hole right there, which is the one that fell down there. You got one more, which is right by the exhaust header, right there. And then you have the one that's underneath. It's like right on the side of the block right here, where that line is. You'll see it. It is this size right here, which is 1/2 inch or 13mm. The rest of them are 13mm except the one by the exhaust, which is a 10mm. So now that that's off and out of the way, the next step, you can move this freely now to get this off. But we're gonna make sure the crankshaft is on top dead center, guys. So there's lines right here. Can't see them. There they are. Boom. TC, top center. So there's a notch on this crankshaft that you need to go right in this V to make sure it's a top dead center before you take it off. So we're gonna rotate this thing. It should be a 7/8. Rotate it until it's on top center, top dead center, blah, blah, blah. And then we can take this off, we can take the cover off and get to the timing belt, guys. In case you guys wanted to see, I'm sorry, because the shadows. There's the line. It's right in the top center. 22 mil. You can turn it by hand if your belt is broken. If not, you're going to be fighting compression and you can take a spark plug out. But our belt is broken. So now that's top dead center. I'm going to take off this cover. There was another 8mm bolt down there at the bottom holding it on. Take the entire cover off. Take the crankshaft off with a pulley, which I'll be showing you all in a second. But let me get some stuff done so I can give you guys an update. Alright guys, so I got the harmonic balancer off with the ABS ring. You don't have to take these four out. So I made it work with something like this. It was part of a puller I had. And I stuffed a 7/8 socket in there so I could have more space. The customer did bring me 2 harmonic pullers. I did use an M14 by 1.5 pitch thread. Just jam it in there and use this. Works like this. This goes in the crankshaft. This bolt threads through this entire shaft, which goes into this. You tighten this nut and this. Well, you hold this nut and tighten this. Well, it just gets hard to do, so I just decided to use my my tool because I can put a impact on the end, and it worked great. Popped right off. So now that that's off, now I'm gonna get the cover off. I could have taken it off before, but I just didn't. So let me get the cover off and show you guys all the marks you gotta be aware of. And here's the Swiss cheese. The belt is completely shot. One other thing you guys gotta take off is your crankshaft position sensor. There's 2 bolts and it's on a dowel. Not the 2 that are on the sensor, but inside the actual block. Sorry if the music's loud, guys. You know I like to jam out when turning wrenches, so let me get them 2 off. Wish I could prop you guys right here, but you can see the 2 bolts. I think it's 2 10 mils, and then you can take the crankshaft ring off right here. And then we can get the whole belt off and start the timing process. I'll see you in a second. Alright, so I got everything off, guys. This took me forever. This is the crank position sensor. These 2 at the front here, right here. It's where your sensor mounts. These 2, the other 2 are what mounts to the block. And that hole you see there, or that one there, is the dowel pin. Well, this dowel pin was extremely stuck. Like, extremely stuck. So I was spending a really, really long time getting it off. But we've taken the time to adjust the notches. So here's the timing on the camshaft up top. Right here, you're gonna line up this little chicka right here with this plastic chicka over the E. And then what you wanna do is take your dipstick from this one at the same angle to line up with your oil pump, and it's gonna be this one right here. You can see this one has a little thing sticking out. It's the only one that has it, right there. And then your crankshaft, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, it's rusty. There's a little dot right past the keyway, and it's gonna line up with that notch that's cut in the aluminum right above it. I put it a little before, just because when I put the tension on the belt, after I put the belt on, it's most likely gonna roll forward just a little bit. So I put it right behind it, put the belt on. Once we do the tension, it should go to it. So now we're gonna do the tensioner. We're gonna take off this one. I think it's a 13, this is a 17. We're gonna take the 13 off, so it's gonna slap all the way to the left. And then we're gonna take the 17 off and put the new tensioner, which we have right here. Looks a whole lot nicer, doesn't it? So, let's get to it. We're making progress, it's going well. Besides this, oh, and this is your crankshaft ring behind, which you can't take off unless this is off, but this has to go back on, guys. So, let's get at it. Alright guys, got the new tensioner on. The old one looks like Dookie. Sounds like Dookie. Ugh. Completely junk. So, the trick for getting this on, this is not the correct way to do it, but it's the way I used. I put this bolt in just a little bit. I put that one in. I got that one almost tight, but tight enough where I could, loose enough where I could still move stuff. This one I got tight enough to where this spring would slide on here, and it would be right on the outside of this. I'd take a pry bar and get it just caught, take a hammer and push the spring all the way on, and then tighten this down, and then loosen it just a little bit, because you want that loose for this belt tension. And then what you do is you put a pry bar in here, pry it all the way out, and tighten this, so it's all the way out, so you can slide the belt on to get this thing ready. So now that we have it all prepped for a new belt, I think that's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna route the new belts. New. Look at this, guys. Just like this. There's a new Gates one. So how we started was we go from the crankshaft to the oil drive pump to the valve, the camshaft, to the belt tensioner. That's how we do it. All the way on. And once that's on, you double check your marks and you release this bolt. This will release tension on it. And then we'll go from there. I'll talk torque specs on the tensioner. I also think you're supposed to do a few revolutions. You're supposed to rotate the engine 2 times to make sure it's still in timing. Same thing with my Honda, I believe. But I'm not sure. That's why I gotta double check some things. But I'll get back to y'all. Hopefully everything's going good for y'all in the video. I'm having a great time. Kind of. Alright guys, so I figured out I had it on wrong for the belt tensioner. So your 2 parts of the spring goes underneath that pole and underneath this pole. You tighten it enough for it to be in there, but not all the way tight. I probably should tighten this a little more. In fact, I'll do that right now. Just because I don't want the spring popping out. Alright. And then you're going to put your handy pry bar in like this. Pry up. Put in that 13 millimeter and tighten it so it holds tension. Which, this is already looking a lot better. It's obviously loose right now. But once I loosen this 13, it's going to fling out and adjust tension manually. And you're going to make sure all your lines, all your timing marks are still lined up. Crankshaft down there, camshaft up here, and then the oil primer, which I can't tell if that's lined up or not. It doesn't look lined up, so I'm going to recheck my marks before I get going and screw something up, guys. Double check, triple check your marks, and once you do it in just tension, rotate the motor 4 times around. 4 revolutions, and make sure that it is still in mark. It is important. Yo, the oil pump. The crankshaft is maybe 1/3 of a tooth off, but I think that is the absolute closest we're going to get now. So now I'm going to pull up. I actually think it came with torque specs. Alright everybody, I have answers for you. So what I did was I rotated the crankshaft before tightening, torquing anything down. They say rotate it 1 full revolution. So 1 full revolution is 2 times around, so the camshaft mark will go and line up again. Make sure all your marks are good. If all your marks are good, then you're going to torque your 13 millimeter bolt to 30 foot-pounds. After you've torqued that one to 30 foot-pounds, you're going to torque the bigger one, the spring tension one, to 35 foot-pounds. It's 30 to 40, but I'm going to go in the middle, 35. And after that, make sure you put your camshaft position sensor on. Make sure you put this on before the camshaft position sensor, otherwise you'll be forked and have to take it back off. Put the cover on. And then we're just going to go from there, guys. We're getting there. We're getting to the finish line. I'm getting excited because I figured this thing out. And it's going to run. And it's going to run good. So let me get at it. I think the next part I'll get to you guys is probably when I have everything buttoned up again. So, we'll see. So I got the crank just sitting there right now. I'm about to just give this thing a fire real quick. You can just test fire it for 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, just make sure everything's good. You just gotta have the crankshaft on. So without further ado, let's give her a start. Just like that, I know it'll run. So now I can bolt everything back together, guys. Let me get this out. The crankshaft needs to be torqued down to like 200 foot-pounds. I'll put it in the description what it actually needs to be torqued down to. I don't think you guys need to know how to bolt everything back together. I showed you how to unbolt it. And now I'm just going to button everything up, guys. Top this thing off with some coolant. I've showed you how to bleed coolant systems before. But for a quick tutorial how-to, you have everything back together, right? You fill it with antifreeze as much as you can. Open the cap, the radiator cap, put a funnel in it. Start the car, turn the heater on full blast. Just pulling all the coolant into the heater core as much as it can. Keep the funnel filled. It'll start to bubble down until it doesn't bubble down. Once it doesn't bubble down, you've let all the air out the system, and you're good to go, guys. So without further ado, let me button this all up, make it look pretty for the customer, and get his vehicle back on the road again, guys. But if I have anything else, I'll include it, and if not, peace out, guys. Alright, so everything went smoothly with the installation, guys, except the fact that his tensioner pulley is broken. It's not there. It's broken 2 pieces in the back of his truck right now. So I'm waiting on him to get that so I can finish doing everything else. I already put the radiator in, topped it off, filled up the overflow. So it shouldn't need to be bled because it should have plenty. I filled it more than the cold. All I have left is the fan and the fan shroud and the serpentine belt. So here we are. Wanting to be done because I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I gotta use the bathroom. But hey, the hard working life of a man.